Hi, this is author Christopher Flakus with J Journal. I was asked to share some of my favorite books or some writing advice, and I decided to do both. The great Roberto Bolaño said that the best writing advice is simply to read. I mean, you can't write unless your tank is full, and to read eclectically, wildly, schizophrenically, all over the place. So hopefully these selections will show that, and also cover a little bit of where I have been, and we'll start with Tangier, Morocco, where I always dreamt of going because of the vibrant literary scene. While there, I learned about Mohammed Shukri. This is his Tales of Tangier, but he's known for the book By Bread Alone. If you can find it, it's still banned in most of the Middle East, even though he's the predominant. I stayed at El Muniria, where this next book was written. Probably familiar with, if not, William S. Burroughs' Naked Lunch. This is a special edition. It's got Queer, Naked Lunch, and Junkie. But if you haven't, jump into Naked Lunch. It's the book that destroyed the idea of authorship and ushered in a new novel. And I'm sorry, but it's signed. Oh, it's like my most prized possession. That and an old Thomas Wolfe. But who gets forgotten is Jane Bowles, Paul Bowles' wife. There's Jane and Paul Bowles hang out in Tangier. Jane only wrote one novel, Two Serious Ladies, but it's her stories that really shine. I was so pleased to see John Waters on stage recently, and someone asked him who's his favorite author, and without even taking a beat, he said Jane Bowles. Awesome. I mean, you can't get much cooler than John Waters. So going back a ways and to a book that always confuses people because it's by someone named Jack Black. You Can't Win by Jack Black is the ultimate. It's like the ultimate hobo book. It's about hobo culture, and it's beautifully illustrated by Joe Coleman, who, if you can see there, does pointillism. He's so detailed that he'll draw undershirts and put things in pockets. And at the end of this edition, there's a kind of a comic book of Coleman's art. So if you can find the Farrell House Press edition, that's the one I'd recommend. Since I mostly write SF, I can't. Or, well, I guess I could, but I would be remiss to not at least include two books. Neuromancer and by William Gibson, the first cyberpunk book, the first in the Sprawl trilogy. And it was the cyberpunk future, but more and more it seems like our cyberpunk present. If you haven't read it, Cyberspace was written on an Olivetti typewriter. And so many of the terms and the ideas that we have about the internet came from here. Cracking ice, because there's a whole phone hacker culture that existed prior, and that caught the attention of William Gibson. And it's the only time I can think of where speculative or science fiction was really parallel instead of thinking ahead. It wasn't so much about technology to come as much as technology that was developing. I will end with my favorite book of all time, The Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño. Aunque no parezco, I'm Mexican. I just got back from Mexico City. It is a big boy, and he's most famous for 2666, his final book that he wanted to cut down. But for writers especially, this is the greatest book about being a writer, about being stupid, about the things the stupidity that writers sometimes carry. For instance, our self-crippling self-doubt and vanity at once. To be a writer is to be a living paradox, and I couldn't be anything else if I tried. Thank you so much, J Journal. This is really a special honor to me. The Man Who Shot the Moon is the story I'm proudest of, and to see it published on such a glorious site is really meaningful. So thank you so much, and I hope that helped you all, and really check those out. There's not one read on there you'll regret. I will throw out Dahlgren by Samuel R. Delany. I couldn't find it on the shelf because I'm constantly reading that book. It's the Ulysses of science fiction. So hopefully there's something in there for someone, and thank you so much again.